What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Wasn't going to make a video about this. Not really something that I get into in this channel. I started this channel a long time ago. It was in I think it was 2016, around 2016, 2015. And I was just wanting to make videos about stuff that really a lot of people weren't talking about too much, you know, maybe like a fringe was, and that was just all this age of, you know, UFOs, aliens, conspiracies or whatever. And you know, I started off being very creative, having fun with it, but as we've learned now that we are in an age of deception, an age of hate, an age where people are calling on conservatives and people who will believe in God. And regardless, you know, if you have any sense of humanity, you know that murder, you know, of an American citizen on our own soil is not good for the country, period. If you can't get to that, then I don't know what to tell you. But I wanted to make this video to call on all parents if you have children. A lot of people want this guy silenced, this guy named Destiny. And in this video, I'm going to tell you what you ought to do if you want to make a difference and if you have children. But this is what is happening now, and it's creating a great divide. Unfortunately, I do not think we're going to come together. I'd like to think that we are going to come together as a country, but I think this has created a great divide, and there's no remorse on the extreme left, and it's making the conservatives a little bit upset, angry, and it's just, there's no one's really going to come together on this thing, I don't think, or just kind of say, hey, we can get together on this. And even our politicians, you know, they'll throw little generalized statements like, hey, this is never okay to do this. But, you know, over the years, you just heard about conservatives and Christians and people who didn't wear their masks. You know, you're the problem, you deserve to die. Why and what, regardless of where you stand politically, whether you're in the middle left, or middle right, you know, the rhetoric is getting intense, and it's not calming down. Even after the assassination attempt of Donald Trump, you saw that the rhetoric didn't go down, and that was an assassination attempt on a president. So I'm gonna play a clip of Destiny calling out, and he's been banned from what I understand, but I want to tell you what I think this is all about, and why I'm going to make this video, and why I think it's relevant, you know, after I show you some clips so you can understand what the stakes are. Let's check it out.
Crime statistics? Shout out the crime statistics?
Not exactly like.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events, so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. The issue is right now, they don't feel like there's any fear. Like, I don't know. It's like memes. It's just memes to everybody, I guess. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't care. I'm playing video games.
Well, when you say conservatives need to fear being killed, you know, well, how are they going to get that fear, Destiny? It's by having examples of conservatives getting killed, like recently. So I don't know if he's playing silly or dumb, or doesn't know what influence he has on the people who follow him. Here's another video of him saying something else.
Who shot Charlie Kirk?
A guy from Utah who was raised in a Christian family, who was a 22-year-old
guy
white
described.
dude. He wasn't
Destiny.
trans. He didn't have a trans girlfriend. He didn't have any trans influences. He didn't have any trans bullets. Yeah, I'm sorry, you guys were wrong on all of that.
His family has collectively told investigators that he subscribed to left-wing ideology, and even more so in these last couple of years. And he had a text message exchange, he the suspect, with another individual, in which he claimed that he had an opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and he was going to.
So you get the picture here. So this video is not necessarily about Destiny. This video is about how we've failed the children that are growing up in this country. And I'm going to talk about the deception, but I want to speak to the parents right now. He was raised in a Christian home, a conservative home, but yet he ended up becoming radicalized. Why? People like this Tyler, young man, they're connected to the internet. They're connected to people like Destiny, or Hassan Piker, who spreads a lot of violence and hate. And the thing is that for a long time, we give kids these little phones here, or they start gaming at a very young age because it's a lot easier than to actually raise your children and be there for them. So instead, what ends up happening, which I think happens a lot more than people think, is they start getting exposed to these ideas, and then these ideas have more influence over children, and they end up raising, even if they are raised in a conservative home, the ideas that they're exposed to constantly or more consistently are the ones that dominate their mind space. And in this case, a lot of kids are gamers. A lot of kids watch Destiny, and they hear his rhetoric and it sounds convincing. So in a way, without even wanting to, parents spend less time with their children and influencing them and raising them, especially if it's a single parent home. But in this case, he had two of his parents, and they were just working their jobs, but something had him more than his parents. And I've always said people don't have ideas, ideas have people. It's not my quote, it's Carl Jung, but it's one of my favorite quotes. So if you're watching this parent, if you've gotten to this point of the video, maybe it's time to think, maybe we need to not let our kids get connected with technology so soon. Maybe the experiment is over. Maybe we figured out social media is not the greatest thing. Maybe it should be like cigarettes. When you're 18, you can finally start getting on social media. Maybe the experiment is over. Maybe we need to get more involved with our children. Send them to church or do something that's more productive. Make them play more outside. The experiment is over. Parents are not raising their children. People like Destiny, like Hassan Piker, are raising your children. People like this guy is talking to your kids over gaming consoles or streaming services, telling them all this crazy ideas that Donald Trump is this and conservatives are that and Christians are this and blah, 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 blah. Not spreading a message of unity, of peace, of maturity, but spreading a message of divisiveness. You heard earlier, you need to feel fear. And I don't think it's just conservatives. It's anyone that disagrees at the end of the day, because they know better. Now, here's point number 2. I'm going to get to the spiritual or supernatural side at the end of the video, so stick around. Point number 2, a lot of these kids, they have access to unlimited information. And this information, they didn't earn it. So they think information is wisdom. The difference between your children and you isn't information. In fact, they probably know more than you, but they haven't tested those ideas. And the problem with today's youth is historically, there has always been this we know it all, I know it all as a teenager. But now they actually do, because they have access to all the information. And instead of trying to figure out themselves in life by going out and figuring it out and playing, getting hurt and interacting with more people to figure out if these ideas play out, they don't. They isolate and they get possessed by these ideas. And there could be a supernatural aspect to it. In fact, I do believe that there is. So maybe it's time, I'll reiterate, to pull back on the iPads, to pull back on the technology. Maybe it's time to reconsider sending your kids off to college, unless it's going to be specifically for, a job that they're going to get, if they're going to be engineers, doctors, teachers, or something. Maybe it's time to consider other avenues. Instead of paying $100,000 for the education, like, hey, here's $100,000 for a business. your soul and your character and your integrity is better than us losing you. I mean, think about this Tyler Robinson's parents. Point number 3. At some point, it's not going to be the conservatives in power. It's going to be the other way around. And what do you think is going to happen if we haven't figured it out since to that point? I'm very concerned. I'm not afraid, but I'm concerned that something is going to happen that we've been talking about, all the people that do these investigations on supernatural things. Something is going to finally happen. And, you know, I think we're getting to a point, guys. We've talked about it for a long time. And there would be a deception, you know. And you ask, what do you mean deception? Well, I think at this point, nothing is going to unite us except if UFO disclosure actually happens. If you look at committees at the White House, every Democrat, every Republican are disagreeing about just anything. They don't agree to nothing. But there's one thing that they have consensus on, and that's UFO disclosure. Ana Paulina Luna leading the way to disclosure. This is something where if you see the committee, go check it out. If you think I'm full of it, go look at how collaborative they are. And we've been talking about, for those who've been following this UFO stuff and all that, that this is the deception. And that maybe UFO disclosure, there's a big conversation among ufology, and that is UFOs are extraterrestrial and they're from a faraway planet. Then the other, I mean, there's more, right? But the other side is that they're not extraterrestrial, they're interdimensional. And they're essentially fallen angels, you know, the ones that they talk about the Bible. And they're trying to deceive the world to bring in the New World Order and the Antichrist. And if you aren't on that side, let me explain the side that believes that they're fallen angels and they're interdimensional. The fallen angels from heaven desire to destroy humanity and desire to take all the credit away from Christ, hence the Antichrist. And their perfect way to deceive the people to stray away from believing in God and Christ is to create a deception. Somebody from another world comes and it's like, no, you know, we have the answers, we have this technology, and all of a sudden both sides of the political aisle come together. And just like we're sitting in these committees, if you want to go look, and that's what's scary about this, is that we don't agree on anything, but on this UFO disclosure we do. And I think we're entering into an age of deception. And if you're not careful, you know, think about it. We've been talking about UFOs for I don't know how long, before I was born. And all of a sudden now it's amping up. It's amping up. It's amping up. Is it a coincidence that people are finally coming out with it? You know, and in this UFO disclosure, you know, it doesn't make any sense to me. You know, how slowly the disclosure is. Obviously, it's something that's strategic in my opinion. But I do think this is the age of deception. And I do not believe that UFOs, at least not all of them, I think we have some of that technology, as I do think that it's interdimensional beings. And they have technology that we don't know about. And you hear that in the book of Enoch and how they presented a lot of technology and herbs and how to put women, how to put makeup. You see that in the book of Enoch. If you haven't read it, you should read it. It's pretty interesting. So I say all that is you need to be careful with your minds. I don't claim to know everything. I just stay very curious. I don't like to be extreme. I don't like to be totally attached to a theory or an idea unless I feel like, you know what, I've done my due diligence. But that's what I have for you today. Guard your minds, guard your hearts, You know, make sure that you don't fall for the narratives that are presented to you. Do your own homework. I suggest pray. If you're not a believer, then just don't buy into the narratives right away. I think we're entering into the age of deception where the only thing that's going to save this world is going to be alien visitors. And we've been primed for years, you know, ancient aliens, you know, like ancient astronauts or whatever, and kind of painting them as kind of like they're peaceful, you know, they came here to help us and they gave us technology and this and that. But that's one narrative, guys. It's not the whole narrative. So just watch your minds. I wanted to make this quick video. If you enjoyed it, you stuck around, click like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.